Hi there, welcome to today's workout. Good on you for showing up here today. Thanks for joining me. I'm really excited for today's workout. Today we're going to go through a standing series, really working the glutes and the legs in a few different standing positions. So it's going to be challenging on the balance and on the muscles, particularly in the glutes. So hopefully you'll be getting a good burn and a good workout. Let's get straight into it. So coming to the center of the mat, just having your feet hip width apart, arches gently lifted. We're just going to start with some nice big breaths and movements for our warm up. So bending the knees softly, scooping the arms down, lifting up towards the sky and reaching up nice and high as we have a big breath in and out. So breathe out to fold, big breath in. As we reach nice and high, breathing out to fold, and let's continue on with that. Just in your own time, whatever feels good. We're just getting the body moving, our breath moving. Let's go for 2 more. All right, coming back to center now. Let's just take the feet a little bit wider. Arms out nice and wide. We're just going to rotate side to side. If you don't have quite enough space, you can keep the elbows bent in, so you're not crashing into any walls. Just moving the hips around as well as the spine, rotating. For 3, 2, and 1. Alrighty, coming back to center, let's get started into our workout. So coming into the center of your mat, again, feet about hip width apart, we're going to hinge forward at the hips. So keeping that core connection, so the ribs down towards the hips, we're just going to poke the bottom back slightly, soft little bend in both knees. We're going to start by working the right leg. So our right leg is going to be our working leg and our left leg is going to be our standing leg. Both legs are going to be working as we go through this. But you want to focus on that hinge forward so that we're engaging the glute muscles and keeping the core controlled. Alrighty, let's get cracking. So we're just going to start with tapping the toes in and out to the side. Hands can stay on the hips or down by the body, whatever is comfortable. I like to have them on my hips to help feel that I'm staying nice and stable. You want to think about lifting the arch up away from the mat so the ankle isn't rolling in, and there's a good position for the knee above the ankle as well. So as we're going through this, the rest of the body should be staying nice and still. We want the shoulder blades down and relaxed, making sure we're not holding any tension through the upper body. You can use your breath. Inhale and exhale. Just make sure you're not breath holding. Let's stay here for a little bit longer. Really focus on this standing leg, staying nice and strong. And we've just got a small hinge at the hips. We want to make sure we're not arching through the back, so the ribs are connected to the body, drawing down towards the hips. For 3 little taps, 2, and 1. Let's stay out here. We're going to lift and lower. So as we do this, you're going to have to shift a little bit more weight onto that standing leg, but we only want this to be a small movement. If we go to a big movement, then we're going to be tilting our whole body, which we don't want. We're keeping everything nice and still, focusing on the balance on this leg, and just lifting that right leg, squeezing the muscles on the outside of the hip here. So that glute med muscle to abduct the leg. You might start to feel this standing leg working as well. I can feel mine going. Let's stay here for 5 more. Keeping the toes pointed, think about lengthening the leg. Upper body stays still. 2 more. And 1, nicely done. Now, coming back to center, we're gonna tap to the side, scoop around to the back, tap to the back. Again, as we do this, trying to keep everything nice and still, maintaining that balance. As your leg spins around to the back, you may find you need to hinge forward a little bit further to stay nice and long. Otherwise, we're keeping everything still. We don't want to drop the hip down. We're just tapping and tapping. Using that breath. Focusing on that balance. Nice, slow, controlled movement. If you want your arms out to the side to help with your balance, that's fine too. That's another good option. Also, focusing your eyes on a specific point can help maintain that balance as well. Whoop, I've put myself off. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Coming back to center, standing up tall. Let's swap to that other leg. So exactly the same, small hinge forward, we lift the left leg up, we're standing on the right leg. Core is engaged, rib down towards the hips. We're starting with those taps, tapping out to the side. Keeping everything nice and still. Just a small movement as we tap that leg. Arch lifted, soft little bend through this standing knee. Really focus on heavy through the heel on the mat to help engage those glutes. You can also have socks on while you're doing this or shoes, whatever's comfortable. I love my bare feet, so. Using that breath, making sure you're not holding your breath at all. Relax through the shoulders and the neck. Let's stay here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying out to the side on this next one. We've got those lifts. So really focusing on your balance. This side's probably going to be a bit harder because we've already worked this leg by standing on it. Whew. Thinking about everything pointing nice and long, heavy through the heel on the standing leg. Controlling that lift up, just a small movement. If you can only lift a tiny bit, that is fine. I'd rather you do that with good control than attempting to do a bigger lift and losing that form. Doing well. Hopefully you're feeling a bit of a burn through those glute muscles. My standing leg is on fire. Let's go for 5, 4, whoop, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Tapping back to the center for a moment, tapping to the side, sweeping to tap to the back, just like we did on the other side. Again, if you find you need to hinge forward a little bit more for this, that's fine. If you need your hands out for some balance. Otherwise, we're trying to squeeze that glute muscle. Keep it nice and strong as we sweep to the back to tap and back to the side. Focusing on that balance. If you find you're getting a little bit wobbly, you can stop, have a bit of a shake and reset, and then join back in when you're ready. We're not here for much longer. Doing well. Keeping everything nice and still. Ribs down towards the hips. Keeping the legs long. Try to avoid bending the knee. We want it to be a nice sweeping motion, not a bending motion. So sweep. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center. Whew. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out. All right, we've got some more work to do. So coming around to the side, we just worked that right leg. So now I'm going to be standing on the left leg again, coming back to where we started. Again, find about the center of your mat. We are staying with a similar posture, similar movements, but this time we're moving behind us a little bit more rather than to the side. So weight comes onto the left leg, core is engaged, rib down towards the hips. We're hinging forward at the hips slightly to engage those bottom muscles. Knee has a soft bend. Arches lifted, hands on the hips. We're tapping back with the right leg and in. So exactly the same, we're just heading backwards now. Again, more work on the balance. Think about staying heavy through the heel. And we want both hip bones always facing towards the end of the mat or the front of the room, wherever you may be. We don't want to rotate back as we tap. Nicely done. Again, your eye gaze can just be towards the front of the mat to help with your balance as well. Let's try speed it up for these last couple. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Staying long here. We've got a lift, just like we did to the side, this time lifting to the back. So this time we're working the glute max muscle, which is the big bottom muscle that performs extension. So again, if you need to hinge forward a little bit more for this, that's fine, but we still want it to be a small controlled movement. Whoop, goes my balance. And we want both hips facing towards the front, just squeezing that bottom muscle, making sure the back isn't arching as we do so. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Staying there, stepping back in. Let's bring the knee in up nice and high, balancing here for a moment. I jinxed myself. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you need to hold on to something, if you've got a chair or a wall nearby, that is obviously fine. Otherwise, try and challenge yourself. From here, arms are going to come nice and long. We're going to hinge forward at the hips into a single leg deadlift position as we extend the leg behind. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so hinging forward, leg goes long, reaching forward. Body stays in one long line, slight bend at the knee, returning to that position. Balance, hinging forward, leg points long. We're going into that deadlift position and hinging forward. If you need to tap your leg in between, that's fine. It's really hard to do this, especially while you're talking. You may also find if you have a really padded mat, if you want to get rid of your mat and do it on the flat ground, that will help your stability a little bit as well. It's actually much more of a challenge doing it on something that's a bit softer. Challenges the proprioception a little bit more. An alternative to this, if you're really struggling with the balance, is you can bring your knee in and actually have your foot down flat on the mat and just move through that little bend, hinging at the hips. Otherwise, stay with me as we challenge our balance together. Using the breath, using your eyesight to focus, squeezing through that bottom and the hamstrings. Doing really well. Let's stay here for 2 more. I don't know about you, but all this concentration is making me sweaty. Nicely done. Let's bring the knee up for a little bit of balance to finish. Let's stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Popping that leg down. Well done. Give that standing leg, both legs, a little bit of a shake. And we're going to be swapping to that other side. So exactly the same. Again, if you struggled with that and you want something with a bit of stability, you can grab a chair now to have nearby. Otherwise, we are keeping going, hinging forward at the hips slightly, working this other leg now. Soft bend through the knee, arches are lifted. We're tapping back, keeping the hips facing forward and tapping in. Starting with this movement here. Doing well. Trying to keep that arch lifted, having a good ankle and knee position. Eye gaze just towards the front of the mat. Using the breath, making sure you're not breath holding. Hips staying level, ribs down towards the hip. We're not arching through the back at all. Heavy through the heel on the standing leg. 4, 5, 4, speed it up. 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Let's stay back here. We're lifting, just like we did on the other side, to tap the toe and lift. Keeping everything still. If you need to hinge at the hips further to lift, then please do. Otherwise, we're staying with a small movement here. Really squeezing the glutes. You should feel your standing leg firing, burning. Hips are staying level towards the front. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Coming back in, bringing that knee up into that front position, 90 and 90. Let's get our balance in tune, and then we're moving into that deadlift, just like we did on the other side. Have a big breath here. Tune into that concentration. All right, let's get ready to hinge. So as we hinge forward, we extend this leg back behind us, arms reach down towards the mat, and returning to standing, bringing the knee back in. So as we hinge, we're keeping this standing leg nice and straight, really, with just a very soft bend through the knee. Whoop. We're not bending the whole knee here. Focusing your concentration on that standing leg, squeezing through the glute, staying heavy through the heel. You might feel all your feet muscles working as well. I can feel mine working hard to maintain that balance. As I said before with the other side, if you find this is too much of a challenge, you can bring the leg in here and just do that hip hinging movement. Otherwise, stay with me. Also having shoes on or getting rid of the mat so you're on flat, solid ground may help as well. Otherwise, stay with me for this challenge. Woo. Try to go nice and slowly. As you hinge forward, we want that back leg to go nice and long and controlled. Oops. Let's go. You'll start to get more wobbly as you get tired. Exhibit A here. Let's go for one more here. Make it a good one. And we're bringing that knee back up to balance for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back down, give the feet a shake, give the legs a bit of a shake. Whew, nicely done. Just widen the legs a little bit. Let's just reach up nice and high to the sky. Bend one hand down to the side and let's bend through the side waist here. Really lengthening through that side of the body. Swapping over to the other side. Swapping again, we'll just go once more to either side. Slow down your breath. Okay, coming back to center. We're going to keep working each leg individually. So let's start with the right leg here. We're going to step out to the side into a side lunge. So leaning in towards that leg, coming back up to center. So keep the legs nice and wide. As we shift our body weight, again, we're sort of hinging forward at the hips. The body comes forward to be a little bit more over that bending knee. We're focusing on squeezing the glutes to lift back up to center. You can have your hands in front or by the sides, whatever's comfortable. Using the breath. I like to inhale to lower, exhale to squeeze back up to center. Staying here with me. So again, working the glute max here, that big bottom muscle to squeeze to stand back up. Also working the quads. Keeping that core engaged. So the body, the torso staying one nice long line. We're not arching through the back. Let's stay here. 4, 3 more. Trying to keep the hips facing towards the front. And last one here. Let's just stay here. Just do some little pulses. Feel that burn through the quad. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, coming back up to the middle. Stepping back in, give the legs a little bit of a shake. And let's get to work on that other side. So again, stepping nice and long and wide out to the side. Get your feet in a good position. You might need a couple of test ones to make sure you've got enough width between your legs, and that will all depend on the range of your hips. So mine is quite wide. You might find yours is a little bit narrower. That's fine too. All right, let's get into it. So hinging at the hips, bending that leg, making sure the knee's following the line of the toes, and squeezing back up to center. Working that glute muscle, keeping the core engaged. Doing really well here. Make sure that knee follows the line of the toes, isn't sinking in towards the middle of the mat. Keeping the hips facing towards the front. We have 5 more. Using your breath. 2 more. Coming down for 1. And then we're back down there for our little pulses. Let's go. Last little bit of work. For 10, 9, 8, woo, 6. Woo. Clearly lost my count as the burn started. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. I think that was my brain trying to cheat. All right, let's come back to center. Shake the legs out a little bit. Let's just finish with a bit of a stretch. Just bringing one foot up at a time, bending up, lifting the heel off the ground, really forcing the the foot forward to stretch through the front of the ankle. All right, and taking one leg up into a quad stretch. So standing on one leg, other leg is going to bend all the way up at the knee, grabbing a hold of the foot, pressing the foot into the hand to counter resist that movement, and you should feel a stretch along the front of the thigh. Again, if you need to keep your balance, you can hold on to something as well. Otherwise, focusing your eyes on a fixed point on the floor can be really handy. And enjoy that nice length through the front of the thigh. Slowing your breath down. And swapping to the other side here. Again, focusing your balance. Ah, that feels good. Last couple of breaths here. Keep that arch lifted on your standing leg to help with the balance. Heavy through the heel, knees close together, hips level. All right, let's shake it out. All done. Thank you for joining me for this standing workout. I hope you enjoyed the challenge of the balance and the control as well. I certainly did. I hope you got a bit sweaty and a bit of a burn as well. I will see you next time for the next workout.